Are you able to make me the host again,
Yeah,
please?
yeah. So, okay, make host. Yeah, well, there you go.
Right. I will go back to. I will let the participants in. There you are as well. Right. We'll wait just a few minutes for a few people to come into the room.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, Camilla.
Good morning.
All right, maybe we can start slowly. Just from a technical point of view, good morning, everyone. I'm Charlotte from IRLA, the European Association of Regional and Local Authorities for Lifelong Learning. We are co-hosting this webinar with thanks to the SKYLA project, the Talent4S3 project, World Oil Trading Center, and the Tuscany region. This will be recorded, the webinar, so everyone knows you do not have to put your cameras on, as we've suggested, and it will be available with the notes afterwards. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or save them for later. And I will now pass the floor after this very brief introduction to Miriana Bucalossi from the Tuscany region. The floor is yours, Miriana.
Thank you, Charlotte, and welcome to our participants to this webinar. First of all, I would like to present myself. Like you can see in the slide that we are presenting, I belong to Tuscany region. I am working within Tuscany region since 2016, and I am in charge of policies related to apprenticeships, work-based learning, and also international and European activities. So within this webinar, we would like to present you some good practices to address skill forecastings and matching at local and regional level. This is a webinar especially targeted to let me say, celebrate the first year of our project, Interreg Europe project SKYLA. We will know more on this project within the webinar. SKYLA is a project targeted to smart specialization skills ecosystems, and together with the dimension of local and regional authorities, this is quite important because we would like to investigate and also design or redesign some policies, keeping in mind that regions and local authorities are the one closer to citizens and closer to enterprises, both small and medium ones. The objective of this SKYLA project is to support public authorities in putting future skills at the center of twin transition, just to get a smarter or more resilient development, and also making this in boosting and adapting the role of vocational education and training within the innovation ecosystems, and also within the strategies targeted to smart specialization. This webinar is also an opportunity to learn from good practices in vocational education and training and skill strategies, also belonging to different projects. And we have the pleasure to host the Talent for Smart Specialization Interreg Europe project, which is a recent project financed by the Interreg Europe program. I close this introduction just to say you that we would like to have you participants engage within this this webinar. Charlotte is presenting now the agenda of this this webinar, and also we would like to have you engage within the Mentimeter application. So you are expected to be reactive to those questions that Charlotte we will present soon. We would like to also investigate what are your expectations. This is the first question that we're going to have within the Mentimeter presentation. Charlotte, I believe that we can go on with the Mentimeter application with this first question, just to have some inputs from our audience, because we would like to get from this webinar, not only present, but also get some information for the two projects that you're going to know more on. So go on, Charlotte.
Perfect. Thank you, Mariana, for that great introduction to the context of SKYLA. So we would just like to start by asking what your expectations for the webinar are today. As Mariana said, you can go to menti.com and use the code 15505746, or you can scan this QR code in the corner. It's up to you, just to get you woken up this morning. Learning is good. We hope to all learn. Inspiration and exchange, also good. Feel free to write what it is. Share knowledge, learn. Well, it's great that we're all looking for learning today. That's what we're hoping for. I think, Mariana, you agree?
Yes, I agree with you. It's very good that many people attending this webinar are wishing to learn more. I think that it is learning not only on the project, but also on some policies that we can also readapt within different contexts.
Perfect. Would you like to move on to the next question, Mariana? That we have some best practices.
Okay.
It's understanding of what S3 looks like in a regional context.
Perfect. Very good.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think that we can go on with the second question if you wish. So, what do you think are the barriers to attract talent in your region or area? This is something quite interesting that we would like to know, both from the perspective of SKYLA, but also from the talent project perspective. So don't be shy. Let's investigate on the barriers. Very good.
Interesting. We're not so, no, we're sharing them. Good. We're sharing also the barriers. It's important to be honest about the barriers so we can address them.
Lack of network. That can be. Very good.
Physical barriers and lack of opportunities. No idea how to work with talent and how to motivate. Okay. Interesting. Shall we go to the next question and we can see if we can address these in the webinar?
Please. And now, what talent mean to you? What do you consider a talent, in your opinion? You can both consider the individual dimension, but also the context dimension.
It's quite interesting because there's some people who have gone for specific, as we were saying, such as workforce able to make skills in a zone, but also those other skills like flexibility, inspiration, excellence.
Yeah. Many of these answers are related to the skills of people and how they meet the needs of a local or a regional or a national labor market. So that's interesting. In my opinion, I believe that we focus on the individual talent, but sometimes I believe from the regional perspective that also vet providers or schools or universities, they could be also, and they should be also talented to be attractive also them. So talent, in my opinion, is something that it is both sides. Very good answers.
Perhaps we end it here with our responses.
Yeah. Yes, and we can start also with a presentation from our speakers. And we have the pleasure to host Arnaud Morisson from the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform. I hope that your name was pronounced by me in the right way, because I am
that was perfect.
I am not so good in French, but in any case, I beg your pardon. Arnaud would present us some insights from the Interreg Europe good practices, especially on upskilling for innovation. And I first would like to present you in the right way. You are a senior consultant for local and regional economic development, and you are one of the thematic experts at the Policy Learning Platform. You are also an adjunct professor at Sciences Po Paris, France. Very good. And you have also a PhD in economic geography from the Utrecht University in the Netherlands, and a postdoctoral researcher in economic geography in Bern University in Switzerland. So we are really interested in your presentation. The floor is yours, Arnaud.
Thanks so much, Mirjana, for the introduction. Thanks so much to the organizers for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here to present some good practices that we have in Interreg Europe, and also presenting a little bit the policy learning platform and how we can help you as well. So great to be here, SKYLA, and to see Talents4S3 here in this webinar. Just to present what we do at the Policy Learning Platform. So the Policy Learning Platform is all about capacity building. And what we do what you're doing today. We capitalize on all the knowledge of all Interreg Europe projects and trying to diffuse this knowledge to as many local and regional policymakers as possible. And we do that through providing opportunities through different ways. So we provide access to knowledge, where we write nice stories, we write policy briefs, we write editorials, but we also provide access to expertise through what I will present, the peer review and matchmaking. And we also provide access to people. So we organize a lot of workshops, webinars. We also provide, it's very bottom up. So you can propose us to organize, for instance, an online discussion. So this short online exchange on a specific topic. So if you have any topic you would like us to discuss, you're more than welcome to send us like recommendations of what you want for us to talk and what topics you're interested in, and we can organize different type of events for you. So we can help you in many different ways regarding skills. We have conducted a webinar a few weeks ago, and it was on strategic and participatory foresight. We had speakers from the GRC, but also from the OECDs, but also from good practices from Interreg Europe. And this approach of strategic foresight, I will present a good practice, is very interesting for skills because it allows you to anticipate what skills will be needed in the next 7 to 20 years. We also write a very nice policy brief, and I will put the link in the chat so you can have access to the policy brief as well, where we give 5 recommendations for regional policymakers, because regional policymakers have a very important role to play to promote new skills and skills that are important for the S3 priorities and what will be needed in the future to anticipate. And here, what I want to stress is that having good practices is very important, because this is the raw materials of our work. And when we have a good practice, you are going to be featured in many of our events. We are going to invite you as speakers. We are going to feature it, in our events and so on. So having a good practice is a great way for you to leverage and to get access to larger network. And last but not least, we organize a peer review, and this was in Szombathely in Hungary, and it was about this economic diversification in the health sector. So what type of skills also will be needed to diversify into new sectors. Yes, so a little bit about peer reviews. So we can organize peer reviews for you. So you have a policy challenge that you would like to address in your regions. You can send us an application. We review the application, and what we do, we bring peers from different regions to address those policy challenges that you might have. So the policy challenge that you might have regarding peer review has to be different from what you are doing in your project. So it cannot be on skills, but it can be on anything else that is not addressed through Interreg Europe projects that you have in your region. And what we will do with the peers, we will learn from each other. And on the second day, the peers will give you like very concrete and tailored policy recommendations to address your policy challenge. So it's a very targeted on-demand service. It's totally free. It's very rapid from the time you send us an application to the time we conduct the peer review. It can take maybe 3 to 4 months. And it's a very good tool to get access to networks, but also to get access to new knowledge, and that's it. Matchmaking is a shorter version of a peer review. It's only 2 hours, but it's very targeted. So it's a very great service as well. But do not hesitate to contact us if you want to learn more about peer reviews and matchmaking. So I gather like 4 different good practices for this webinar that derives mostly from the policy briefs that we wrote on skills for innovation, and that can inspire you, because that was one of the comments in the webinar, to get inspiration. So one of the recommendations that we had is to form this sort of regional task force for regional skills assessment and anticipation. And this is something they have done quite well in Slovakia. So this is a good practice, and you have the link here, where they try to monitor the labor market needs, what would be the labor shortages, and to identify how technologies will affect the labor market. So they were performing those kind of foresight exercise in different groups. So they're like 24 sector skills councils, trying to identify how can we anticipate the skills will be needed, and what can we do right now to start working on upskilling and so on. So this good practice shows how to use foresight methodologies to anticipate skills. And you can also look at this good practice from Slovenia, the future key skills. They were featured in our webinar, and they're presenting what they were doing as well. Another good practice that is quite interesting, it comes from Catalonia, and it's this international talent attraction program. It's called Technospring. It's quite a famous program. So it's a mobility scheme to attract younger researchers to work on specific R&D projects in Catalonia. The regional government will provide 100% financial support for the PhD to work within a private company to develop applied research projects. So it's really about technology transfer for PhD researcher to be very concrete, to work with private companies. So it also is great for university industry collaboration. And it's a great way for attracting talents in the region, specific S3 priorities. So this was one of the barriers and one of the skills that was needed in the poll that we had. Another interesting practices that comes from Italy, Tuscany, this upskilling in traditional industries. Here, Tuscany, the Prato textile district is very famous, but the textile industries, traditional industries, are changing quite rapidly. So here it was a way to provide companies with knowledge to adapt to new supply chain logics, technological and market complexities. So what they were doing is providing assessment of the company's challenge and trying to provide a roadmap to address those challenges. And here what you can think of is also using those innovation vouchers. So innovation vouchers is very flexible policy tools, is great, is for SMEs, companies to have access to knowledge from research centers, consulting companies, and is very flexible tool that they can use to address specific challenges, provide roadmaps for upskilling. That could be a good way to do so as well. And last but not least, and I think this is also super interesting, it's quite novel as well, is using this type of challenge-driven approaches for upskilling. So we know that now there is more and more focus on how to address specific challenges, either societal challenges or either like business challenges. And here it's a good practice from Bulgaria in Sofia. And what they were doing those challenge-driven hackathons. So not a hackathon on 2 days, but more like a few months. And it was about trying to address specific, concrete local challenges, such as traffic congestion or specific city challenges within Sofia. So bringing companies with students to address those challenges. So trying to develop this minimum viable products. And then you had the jury coming from private sectors evaluating the different solutions, and they were giving prize money, and then to further develop a prototype. And the city was even providing sometimes opportunities for public procurement of innovation. So here, using this challenge-driven approach can really rally the innovation ecosystems around very specific challenges, can be also business challenges. And here there is also like in Demola initiative that is very interesting, connecting students with company challenges. So think about those challenge-driven approaches for upskilling around S3 priorities. I think that can be very, very relevant for you. And that's it for me. Thanks so much for this invitation. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them at any point. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Arnaud. I believe that you provided us with very good best practices from across Europe. These 4 best practices that you presented us are really, really interesting for the true project perspective, but also are interesting because they present in some ways the need for networks. This is something that also emerged from the Mentimeter first questions. The fact that in many cases, the perception that we have on networks is a very good one. They are needed to achieve better results, to have some developments. And also the best practices that you presented, in some cases, more or less they worked and they are working on the basis of some networks, which are maybe not only the formal one, but also the one starting from the bottom. I think this is quite important to mention. What do you think about that? How much important are within your experience within the Interreg Europe learning platform? How much important are networks?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I mean, this is what we do at the Policy Learning platform, so capitalizing on knowledge. But you know, it's the heart of Interreg Europe projects, right? Diffusing learning from one another, and because you know many regions face similar challenges regarding upskilling. I mean, talents attraction is a big topic. I was in Malta a few weeks ago, and what they were saying is that the main challenges for startups right now is talent. It's not finance, because you can find finance now. There's venture capital, there's money flowing around, but talents is really key. And many regions are working on that. There is also European Commission initiatives on talents, so it will even be a bigger challenge in the future with many initiatives that will be trying to promote talent. So if you can work right now on this topic, you can also take and align yourself with European funding initiatives. I think that can be really good for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Arnaud. We will now pass to the presentation on what the SKYLA project is. Many of these topics that Arnaud Morisson presented us were also part of the SKYLA project. And so I am presenting you and introducing you Lorenzo Sabatini, which is the leader of the SKYLA project for the Agency for Development of the Empolise Valdezza area within Tuscany region. So Lorenzo, I am now saying something more about you. You are an European project manager on the senior level. You are an engineer and you are employed in the agency I mentioned before since 2012, where you are responsible for the RTD project area. You are also a national and an EU project management senior, and you are involved in many projects at regional, national, and European level within different programs. I mean, in terms of finance and programs belonging to the European Commission and European Union. So, Lorenzo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mariana, and thank you because effectively you already introduced some concept about the SKYLA project during your opening of this meeting. Yes, SKYLA, Smart Specialization Skill Ecosystem for the Twin Transition, is a project approved under the first call. So we start 1 year ago, more or less. And our focus for the policy improvement is related to be able to how to put the skill at the center of the twin transition, but particularly how to put the skill at the center of the local strategies of the participant region. This means smart specialization strategies, but not only. It is the partnership from which we start 1 year ago. We were 11 partners and 2 associated. One, ASEF, is the lead partner from Tuscany, together with the regional government of Tuscany. And we have on board also the ERLAL network, which covered the role of communication manager, but mainly is relevant to give us the opportunity to open a window on the Europe, also outside our network, so to see what's happening beside our practices and our knowledge. But now I'm really glad to say that we will officially enlarge our project also to the new partners from the European candidate states, particularly with the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro and the Regional Development Agency of the Little region in Ukraine, because we participated to the recent restricted call, which offered the opportunity to expand the partnership also to such new areas from the interregional cooperation. So now we are 13 plus 2 associated partners. This is an overview of our methodology we are following. You know that the project consists in 3 years of the core phases to get the policy improvement, and then one follow-up phase 1 year. Our methodology is obviously based on the 3 pillars of the exchange, so the analysis of needs, the identification of the possible solution, and the activities that will come shortly for the change, for the policy improvement. Obviously, besides this, we try to work together using common methodology document, methodology procedure. And what is very important in our project and in all the Interreg Europe 1 is having in each participant region also a local stakeholder group with which to exchange, with which to discuss about the identification of the needs of the solution and the following improvement in the policies. In a very nutshell, what we did in this first 2, and now we are in period 3. We start 1 year ago in May with the first interregional learning event in Brussels, where we organized, thanks to the ERLAL network, a seminar on skill for the twin transition. So looking what happening in Europe on this topic, and immediately we worked together in order to identify the priority, the sub-themes on which to apply for the following analysis of need. Particularly, for example, we identified some pillars such as the skill for recasting, the problem to get good facilities for the vocational and educational training, the problem of the training of trainers, if we want to have to put the skill at the center of the twin transition, we have also to consider the same teacher, the problem to which is the role of the vocational and educational training in our region, and so on. In the following period, we work in our region in parallel by involving the regional stakeholder groups in order to draft an analysis starting from a common methodology. So by filling a common document as results of the exchange with our stakeholder, and we discuss such topic in Dublin in November in the second interregional learning event. Then we move to the subsequent phase where we actually are in this moment, starting to identify the possible solution. Particularly, we start with the identification of a first list of good practice, starting from the needs we share in Dublin, and we propose for the possible exchange in Florence during the third interregional learning event, the solution, the first list of solution we discovered. Obviously, during our event, we have also the opportunity to discover and to deep the experience of the hosting partner, as we did in Dublin, where they have a very impressive policy equipment and also facility for training and skill, and as we did in Florence, where we have the opportunity to explore one of the same good practice we share, just the one on which shortly I will present in the next session of this webinar. And now we are trying to move a step forward, because we share a first list of possible solutions, but obviously this first list is not enough. We are going over, we have to make a sort of analysis of the lack of the gaps. So we will address the next event on the identification of what is missing, because the idea is that from the solution and the practice done in each participant region, each partner can find not only the inspiration for own following policy improvement, but they should be also able to ask to the partner what they effectively need, what they effectively want to dip from the experience of the other partner. But now, oh, sorry, I forgot the obviously, by the way, during our activities, we are also working on communication issue, and particularly the ERLAL Nectar is preparing step by step useful reports, short videos, and also interview that you can find on our website, step by step, updated according to the different phase of our project. And now before to enter in the next session, I'm really glad and proud to introduce the new partner. I think this is the very first time that they participate to an Interreg Europe event, the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro and the Regional Development Agency from the Lviv region in Ukraine. So I don't know who want to be the first to introduce himself and to talk just few words about own challenge. Maybe Vuko Jovanovic from the Chamber of Economy will be the first. Vuko, if you are online, the floor is yours.
I'm here. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity and to say that it's a pleasure to be involved in this event. I'll try to keep it short and not take too much of your time. The Chamber of Economy of Montenegro is the biggest business association in Montenegro. It has a long tradition, almost 100 years of tradition when it comes to independent, professional, creative, inventive, and goal of representing interests for all businessmen and the economic and overall development of the state of Montenegro. I'll try not to talk too much regarding the organization of the Chamber of Economy. I come from the sector of education and quality. We have 8 other sectors. In one of them is Tanja Radusinovic. She is in the sector for the projects department. On some other opportunity, I believe that she will give you more insight regarding what happens in that sector, even though it's obvious that they are covering a lot of project activities. I believe that they have around more than 25 active projects at the moment. When it comes to the educational part, our sector, Education and Quality Management Department, covers several different aspects. We are involved in organizing educational activities for adult learning here at the Chamber, and we are proud to say that we have on a yearly basis around 72 activities. And for example, last year we had 72 activities with more than 3,200 participants. So we are trying our best to give our economy the opportunity to evaluate and improve their skills in their everyday conducting of business. We are also involved in several international EU-funded projects. We are working as really closely as a supporting role for the projects department. And we are also very involved in the development and implementation of national policies in Montenegro that cover the formal and informal education system. Also, we are proud to say that we are a very active partner and that we are very involved in the development and implementation of the VET education in in Montenegro and the projects regarding it. And I believe, in short, that's it for us. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lujo. I'm really glad to have you on board. You are in SKYLA project as discovery partner, but you seem already prepared to make something more. Your participation is half official because we have to get the effective approval, but we already know that you are being approved, you and obviously also the other partner from the regional development of the Lviv region. I think Danilo is online.
Yes, thank you, Lorenzo.
Hello, Danilo.
Words. Hello, dear all colleagues. Couple words about Regional Development Agency of Lviv region. So here is also online my member of our team, Mrs. PhD Irina Temechko. And also I would like to add a couple of words. So we was founded last year by the Lviv Regional State Administration and Lviv Regional Council. So we operate under the regulation of the institution Regional Development Agency of Lviv region. And our main tasks in the context of implementing state regional policy are participation in the development updating, ensuring the implementation of the state strategy for regional development for 2021-2027, attracting and implementing projects of international technical assistance and cross-border cooperation, organization and conduct of training and other education events for representatives of local executive authorities, and also assistance in implementing activities to the regional level to support and promote Europe integration of Ukraine. Also, in my past, we successfully relocated enterprises during the war. It's more than 230 different production companies. Also, during the war, we are a fourth region which attract 25 million euros of investments in the construction of a factory. And we completely manage this project from the finance and land plot to launch. So I can say that we create more than 3,000 workplaces in the Lviv region. And for now, bakery complex is working fully. Also, we are working in direction of cultural heritage. We are promoting our cultural heritage, creating different projects and promoting it in Europe region. Also creating different investment projects to attract investments. For now, it's very important different hydropower plant or wind power plant, because as you know, and even tonight in the morning time, we have a missiles attack. So to have electricity, it's our main task. Also, we are creating analytics for micro, small, medium-sized enterprises. Also, we provided trainings. The last training which we organized by the Regional Development Agency and support of the Council of Europe. Took part more than 150 participants and 47 territorial communities. So also in Lviv region, we have 49 institutions in the vocational education system, and we would like to improve and find the best policies and learn best policies for this 49 institutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danilo, and welcome on board, you and Irina. in the SKYLA project, and I hope to see all of you, obviously, in September when we will celebrate our 4th interregional learning event in Malmö, Sweden. But by the way, obviously, we will be in touch by web and by email also during this summer period. Well,
I'm not sure about myself because we have very strict rules to cross the border for men in age 18, 60 years. But I am definitely sure that my colleague, Mrs. Irina Temachko, will take a part.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And now I give you the floor, Mirjana, for the next phase of this meeting.
Thank you, Lorenzo, and thank you also to our new coming to the SKYLA project from the Ukraine, from Montenegro. We are really happy to have you on board. I am sure that within the SKYLA project, we will provide for very interesting and attracting activities together. So thank you so much. I hope to see you in presence very soon. Thank you so much. Now we pass the floor to the second project that we would like to present you this morning, which is a project which is linked in some ways to the SKYLA project, and I am talking about the Talent4S3 project, again from Interreg Europe program, and I pass the floor to Lucila Castro Rovillar, which is a very talented, let me say that, professional. She has a degree in communication sciences with a specialization in policy and planning at the universities of Buenos Aires in Argentina. Now she is a project manager at the Fundsit PISTEX project, where she has been working since 2007, implementing and developing regional, national, and European projects. She has been actively involved in the design of the smart specialization strategies in the region of Extremadura, a very beautiful region, I must say. I was there sometimes, so I have very good impressions from that region. And now she is currently part of the technical office of the RIS3, giving support to the regional government of the region in the implementation, monitoring, and the evaluation of the strategies. So, Lucila, the floor is yours. We would like to know more about your Talent4S3 project.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the SKYLA project team for the invitation to participate in this webinar. It is very important for us to extend our collaboration beyond our own partnership and to be able to share experiences with you. It's a great opportunity. Our project, Talent4S3, has started very recently on last April 1st this year, so we don't have yet any results to share, but we do believe that the synergies that can occur between both partnerships can be very profitable for us and for you, I hope. So I will briefly introduce you to the project and what we seek to achieve with the project, and I hope that in the future we will have other opportunities to share experiences and solutions to the problems that we share about talent and skills. So well, very briefly, the retention and attraction of talent for better deployment of smart specialization strategies is the name of our project, and it has been approved in the second call of the Interreg Europe program. As I was telling you before, the project started on the 1st April, and it has, as also SKYLA project, three years of a core phase and 1 year of a follow-up phase. The project is framed in the policy objective of Smarter Europe and the specific objective of skills for S3 and industrial transition. Well, we have a diverse partnership, both in geographical terms and in socioeconomic development terms. with an important presence of managing authorities or entities that are directly involved in the management or the design of the selected policy instruments. In the presentation, you can see the names of the members of the partnership. Leading the project is the entity of which I am part, which is the Foundation Fundesit Science and Technology Park of Extremadura in Spain. Then we have the Emilia-Romagna region in Italy, the Northwest Regional Development Agency in Romania, the regional development agency Podravje-Maribor in Slovenia, the Regional Council of Lapland in Finland, the Lithuanian Innovation Center in Lithuania at national level, and the Southern Regional Assembly in Ireland. And we also have the participation of an advisory partner, the University of Groningen in the Netherlands, which has renowned researchers actively involved in investigating regional challenges regarding labor dynamics, including the attraction and retention of talent for the development of smart specialization strategies. So we are happy to have them on board, also to help us to better focus our efforts and get the most from the exchange of experiences. So about the main issue addressed by the project, it is basically how to better retain and attract talent in the regions. It is clear that that brain drain is a common challenge in the EU, and that it has multiple dimensions to be considered. I think in the Mentimeter at the beginning of the webinar, it was clear that there are plenty of dimensions to bear in mind. And there is currently an important debate on the EU about the brain drain and the depopulation process that Europe has been suffering, and how this process, if unattended, will trigger new territorial disparities. So we understand that improving those policies dedicated to retain and attract talent to the regions in order to give citizens equal opportunities is of great importance in this moment. And in particular, we want to focus on the smart specialization strategies as a framework to positively address the brain drain issue, as these are place-based strategies that can focus on the competitive advantages existing in the region. So that is why this is the framework in which we want to work. Well, the overall objective of the project is in the end to improve the policy instruments and tools that foster the retention and attraction of highly skilled people, and boost the development of smart specialization strategies. And to do so, of course, we will base the mutual learning process in the exchange of experiences among partners, in the identification and integration of the lessons learned into the selected policy instruments, and in the promotion of the good practices to support public authorities in the policymaking process through the participation of stakeholders and so on. Here you can see the 7 policy instruments that we will address within the project. Most of them are smart specialization strategies, like for example the case of Extremadura or Lapland or Slovenia, or programs that support the S3 strategies, specifically like the case of the southern region in Ireland, or Lithuania, or the northwest Romania. They are working with their operational programs, and also we have a very interesting law as a policy instrument launched by the Emilia-Romagna region, which is the first law in Italy for the promotion and attraction of the attraction and retention of highly specialized talent. So, well, we are happy with this picture of policy instruments that are diverse, and also that we are confident will help us to learn from each other. Very briefly, in terms of the learning process, well, we will base our activities in quite standard somehow activities from an Interreg Europe project. So I won't stop here a lot. We are just going to have study visits, identification of good practices, interregional thematic workshops on specific issues. We are going to involve our stakeholders, of course. We will produce action plans if needed, if we cannot improve our policies before the end of the core phase. And also we are going to try to identify possible pilot actions to be implemented. I want to comment a little bit more on the first activity, which is the one we are already working on right now, which is the state-of-the-art reports. For this activity, which will set the basis of the subsequent work of the exchange of experiences that we'll carry out during the project, we have the support of our advisory partner. The state-of-the-art in each region will be done in order to clarify the current situation in terms of retention and attraction of talent for the development of smart specialization strategies. The elaboration of this analysis will help regions to identify good practices to be shared later on during the study visits and through the policy learning platform, of course, as well as to identify possible pilot actions to be developed during the project in order to experiment with possible solutions to the problems encountered. In summary, this will set the basis for the future exchange of experiences in order to find the best possible solutions. When listening before to Lorenzo, some of the first step that he was explaining to us made me think about this first activity from our project, which is pretty much in line of understanding where we are in order to identify those challenges that we wanted to address within the project. And also a joint summary on the state of the reports will be elaborated by our advisory partner, highlighting the main common challenges between partners, and those common challenges will be addressed later on in the interregional thematic workshops. So this is pretty much what I wanted to tell you today about the project. We do not have much more things to say right now, but as I said before, I hope we will be able to have other opportunities to share more information in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucilla. For sure, we will have more chance to go in depth with your project, and we hope that you will keep us updated on the prosecution of the project. I believe that you provided an overview on what the talent in terms of dimensions that you are investigating on is the vision that you provided us on the project is quite important because you have different authorities within the network of the project. In the case of Italy, we have some colleagues from the region of Emilia-Romagna. The multi-level governance is something that you are going to face too, which I think it's quite important to mention. They have a regional law, but no national law in Italy we have. So it is something that we can also mention. And also we can mention that, like you well say, that talent is a multi-dimensional thing to investigate on. We have the brain drain. We have also some issues, like we said in the beginning of this webinar, which belongs to maybe the institutions that are in charge of some policies. So it is a wide project, yours. So thank you again for presenting this project. Now, Charlotte, I give you the floor because we have one question with the Mentimeter application, and we would like to have, dear participants, from you some feedbacks, let me say that. So what are your impressions of the two projects that we presented? Do they meet your regional needs? What do you think about that? Again, don't be shy. Would like to have your impressions because your impressions are precious to us for the two projects. Oh, perfect. We also believe that we have potential synergies among the two projects, so we are really happy to share with you both of them. Thank you. This is a very good suggestion. And what about your regional needs? Are you encountering the same issues, both on talent and also on policies to support the smart specialization?
I personally like talent and SKYLA equals 1 + 1 = 3. Thank you to whoever put this comment in.
So, very good answers and suggestions. Thank you for answering. And I think that we can move to the second panel, Charlotte, if you think.
To the second question?
Okay.
No, or sorry, you meant I'll stop the show.
Maybe the talent, and we move for the next questions for the end of the webinar, maybe. Okay. So now we have a new panel, which is the best practice panel, and we would like to investigate with our speakers on place-based strategies for upskilling in the twin transition. So we're going to have some inputs from Lorenzo, from Lucila Castro from the region of Extremadura, and also from a new speaker, which is Sharon McCarthy and Aidan Owens from the Baldoyle Training Center, Fingal County Council. Fingal County Council, it is, it is a part of a Fingal Skills Strategy Implementation Group. It is a center based in the north of Dublin in the Fingal region. Aidan Owens is the area training manager of this center, and it is also he is also the co-chair of the FSSIG. Sharon McCartney is an assistant manager, and she represents the training center on several of the Fingal skill strategies subgroups. They provide a wide range of skill-based training courses. We would like to know more on their activities. So I believe that the first to speak is Lorenzo, and I give him the floor.
Well, thank you very much. I think you can be able to see my next presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Again me, and now to introduce a good practice, we start to share with our network. The practice concerns the higher technical training policy in Tuscany, and particularly the network of the ITS academies. But let me say what we consider as good practice in SKYLA, following obviously the definition of the program. We consider as good practice an initiative related to the local, regional, or national development policy, which has proved to be successful. This means that it's possible to provide tangible and measurable results. This is very important, and obviously has to be a practice with potentiality of transferring in other regions, so you can couple or anyway get inspired by this practice for another policy improvement in another region. So availability of results, transferability, level of innovation, and sustainability of the practice itself represents a key pillar for defining a project, an initiative, a measure already developed as a good practice. In the case of the ITS system, ITS are School of Excellence, born in Italy and in Tuscany as well, in order to develop the workers of tomorrow, talking about higher technician skills. So ITS represent in some way the top of the strategies based on linking education, training, and labor policies with the industrial policies and interest. The idea, the system was launched in the previous programming period, 2014-2020, and supported by the Regional Operative Program ESF. And step by step from 2010, because the idea started in 2010, were being established 10 ITS on very different topics, particularly related to the sector of the economical system in Tuscany, or cross-border, cross-sectorial technologies, such, for example, the ITS more vertical are the one of nautic, on mechanics, on life science, on tourism, and so on, while we have also ITS academies on cross topics such as digital technology, energy efficiency, and, for example, the last born on business science and management. The 10th ITS where it has been created just in April, and we will open on educational activity next October. What about an ITS academy? The academy are Alliance Foundation, it was the previous name, foundation between enterprises. This is very important to have enterprises on board, and they have to cover at least the 50% of the partnership, school, training agency, university, and also public authorities. Very important, the public authorities, particularly to foster, to support the startup of the academy itself. This is an example of one of the last born ITS, the ITS Prodigy on digital technologies, that had as the headquarters just in the premises of my agency, the ASEF. This is an overview of the context and of the group of the founding members. The scope of Prodigy, founded in the late 2021, is to create a professional figure for information technologies and digital technologies, particularly related to the needs of different economic sector of our region. We start in Empoli, just in the center of the Tuscany. We have to cover the needs of all the region. Obviously, this happens step by step, but Prodigy has also branches in Florence, in Pisa, in Siena, and Arezzo. This is the group of the founding members, 30 entities coming from business, trade association, training agencies, schools, and so on. But what about the working methodology? The idea is to work together, particularly in tight connection with the enterprises, in created good courses. Good because they respond to specific requests and needs of the enterprise. So we start with a skill analysis done with our enterprises and with a joint planning of the course. Joining because both private, economic, and training system put on competence in order to create a good training course, very targeted to the needs. Then are selected the trainers, and is important to say that at least the 50%, but usually this percentage is more, it's around 70%. Such professional trainers have to come from private sector, so to maintain the strict connection with the needs of the enterprises, and a large part of the training process is done within an enterprise. This is a very short sheet to schedule an ITS course. So the duration is 2 years. Usually the courses start in October and the academic years close in April, May. The training, the time of the training is around 2,000 hours, where more or less half is done through internship or apprenticeship in the industry, in the enterprise, and the remaining time in the classroom. And the new number of students is around 25 for each course. The policy from which start the system, as I said, arise in 2010 with the launch of the first 3 ITS. And this ITS wanted to respond to a very huge problem, to create a sort of third way for young workers. The idea is that after the mandatory school, beside the opportunity to go to the university or to enter immediately in the world of work, people had to find a third way to try to address on knowledge, on capacity directly on what was requested by the enterprise. So step by step, the system has been created, and step by step, we created up to 10 ITS, which try to cover the needs of the whole region on the different topic and sector on which they are addressed. In 2020 was also launched a very specific, the first very specific call for supporting the purchasing of equipment and the creation of technical training laboratories. So, why we propose it to the SKYLA partnership, the ITS system as good practice, due to several success factors. As first, the employment rate. We realized that more or less all the students who follow and close with success the academic course found a job after 1 year after graduation, but this happened usually very soon. A large part of the students already get a job before to close the courses. This is very important, particularly in a nation like Italy, where for young people it's not easy to find so easily the work. Another such factors is the flexibility. ITS are made up of companies and other institutions able to complete the range of the knowledge and of the skills that training and the ITS need. Then the laboratories, the opportunity to have technical laboratories and modern equipment for training. This has been done step by step. At the beginning was very important, the role of the enterprise also for the provision of the equipment and of the facilities themselves, but now step by step also using not only the resource of the regional authority, but also resources coming from the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. Such laboratories are increasing and improving on capacity. Variety, because each ITS launch every year, at the beginning 2-3 courses each year, but now 5-6 courses each year. So this means that each year an ITS manage more or less 10-12 courses because they last 2 years. And monitoring. The activity is monitored both at the regional level, which support financially the cost of the ITS courses, but also at national one, because there is an agency at this purpose who evaluate the quality of each ITS, also using quality indicators dealing with the employment rate, the attractiveness, the quality of the stage done during the courses, and so on. Well, we propose such system as a good practice in a relative way. So considering the startup phase, because we start from scratch. The systems was created from zero in 2010. Nothing of this existed. So it is really being started from scratch. And we consider a good practice this process for the first 3-5 years after the creation, but we are still trying to improve such things. Some problems are already still in progress for their solving. For example, we need to fight with a cultural lack we have in Italy, particularly in parents, that several people do not consider a third way respect to go to the university or to go to work after the mandatory school. So we have to improve our capacity to communicate such opportunity to our territory. And moreover, we need obviously to consolidate such system to be able to cover all the needs of the region and all the geographical distribution of the region, because the ITS are born particularly where the sector on which they address is relevant, but obviously enterprises and needs have to be covered in the whole region. Well, that's all for the moment, but if you have question now or after the presentation of my colleague, I'm here to give you an answer.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you so much. And I am passing the floor to Lucila Castro for their best practice on place-based strategies presentation. Lucila, the floor is yours.
Do you see my presentation, right?
Yes, we can see.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I will present a good practice that has been implemented in the region since 2017. First as a pilot, and then as a consolidated instrument to improve the employability of young people under 30 years old. So first of all, very briefly, I would like to present my region, because I think it's important to understand the general situation, right? The general situation in which the good practice has been developed. Extremadura is located in the southwest of Spain. It has a very low GDP per capita, which is significantly below both the Spanish and the EU average. This reflects the region's limited industrial base and the reliance on primary and tertiary sectors. The unemployment rate is one of the highest in Spain, unfortunately, and it is significantly above the national average. This high unemployment is partly due to the structural economic issues of the region and the inability to provide sufficient jobs, particularly for those with higher qualifications and young people. The regional economy is dominated by SMEs. More than 99% of the companies are SMEs. These businesses are critical for the local employment and for the economic activity of the region. But of course, they face challenges related to scale, investment capacity, and innovation mostly. The economy is strongly linked to the tertiary sector. The industrial sector is less developed in comparison with other regions, with key industries related to energy production, mainly solar energy, agro-industry, corn production, etc. And the agriculture remains as a vital part of the regional economy. In terms of R&D, Extremadura is categorized as an emerging innovator within the regional, the EU regional innovation scoreboard. The investment in research and development is relatively low, with an R&D expenditure standing in the 0.7% of the GDP. Despite this low investment, the region has quite a strong and robust R&D ecosystem. This includes several research institutions, initiatives focused on sectors such as renewable energy, agri-food, digital technology, and these institutions are critical for driving innovation and supporting the economic development of the region. Coming back to the high unemployment rates, this is particularly high in higher education, and this has led to a significant brain drain in the region. Many young people and qualified professionals leave the region in search of better job opportunities, and this situation challenges our capacity to retain talent at regional level. Also, we have some strengths in digital skills, but the region has weaknesses in the employment within knowledge-intensive sectors compared with other EU countries or Spain. So, in this context, which, as you can see, it's quite complex, addressing brain drain and enhancing the employment opportunities in knowledge-intensive and high-skill sectors are crucial for the region. And that is why back in 2017, and in the framework of our first smart specialization strategy, several units of the regional government with competencies in employment and in R&D started to design together this innovation and talent program that was financed through the European Social Fund. The program, the innovation talent program, mainly aims to improve the employability of young unemployed university graduates or those who have completed the intermediate or higher vocational training diplomas under 30 years old, through an integrated training and employment actions linked to the smart specialization areas of the region, like agri-food, ICT, tourism, health, clean energy, so on and so on. So the program is ongoing since August 2017 with the publication of the first degree. And then we had 3 calls for grants in 2017, 18 and 20 in the previous programming period. And afterwards, new degrees were launched to improve the original one. And well, I'm going to explain this a little bit later. So the main characteristics of the program, the projects financed at a duration of 9 months, of which 25% of the time of the worker were devoted to training at an R&D center or at the University of Extremadura. And the rest of the time is devoted to work in the entities that hired these people to develop an R&D project. So the training was aimed at improving or acquiring competencies and skills for the performance of the activities of the project that they were going to do within the company or the private entity. The research teams belong to the university or to regional R&D centers, and the beneficiaries in the end were companies or associations or non-for-profit organizations. The grant financed 18,000 euros per participant for the hiring company, basically salary cost and social security, and 4,000 euro per participant for the university or the research centers that made the tutoring and training of the participants. So after these 3 calls, the data we obtained was very positive in terms of results. There were 525 projects financed, of which 437 have been promoted by companies and 88 by private non-profit organizations, sort of. And the number of participants was 651 people. So, well, and in relation to the labor market, 80% of the participants have had a contract in the 12 months following the finalization of the project. So, in the presentation, you can see the distribution of the projects by strategic areas as well as between men and women. So, with these good results in mind, the regional government decided to keep on working on this program. We enter in the new programming period, and we redesign our smart specialization strategy. And in this new or updated strategy, talent was one of the main challenges we wanted to address. And it has 2 strategic lines specifically dedicated to human capital for R&D activities and to promote and attract talent to the region. So in this context, the regional government, as I said before, decided to keep working in this line and improve the talent and innovation program. To do so, they launched a new decree, improved, and the program maintained its main objectives of facilitating the labor market insertion of unemployed young people and enhance the capabilities of the region in terms of talent in the strategic areas for smart specialization, but it improved some points like the duration of the grant from 9 months to 12 months, and the costs finance were also updated, and they cover a little bit more money than in the past. With these improvements, we hope to have better results in the future and to help more young people to stay in the region and to enter into the labor market, mostly by doing R&D projects in the regional companies. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And once again, thank you very much to SKYLA project team for the invitation and the opportunity to present this good practice.
Thank you, Lucila. Stay with us because closing the webinar, we're going to ask to all the speakers 1 short questions, the same for all.
Sure.
And you are supposed to reply in 1 or 2 minutes. So this is something quite easy. Now we move to the last presentation from the Baldoyle Center that I presented at the beginning of this second panel. And I kindly ask you to to Sharon and Hayden to show us their presentation. Thank you and welcome.
Can you see the screen?
No, not yet.
Charlotte, I think you might need to admit me as a presenter. I'm not up
If
as a presenter.
you'd like to try again, it should be I removed and put it back on.
Yes, let's try. Thank you, Sharon.
No, still not.
Okay. Interesting.
Now we're a bit behind time. Do you want to start doing the questions and we'll get it up then? And
Would you like to answer the question I prepared for you?
Yeah, just I don't.
so we'll get the presentation up. Just
No problem. We can have the question first. You presented two projects, the SKYLA, the Talent One, and also some best practices. For example, the one that Lucilla has just presented on the talent program, and also the one from the ITS Foundations from Lorenzo. I believe, in my opinion, that guidance could be a strategic factor. So I'm asking you, and also if he's with us, to Arnaud, what do you think about guidance? How can you have some guidance policies linked with your, if you think that could be linked to your to what you have presented in terms of help in engaging people in those programs, for example, or in terms of something that maybe could be improved, because sometimes it's difficult to get to be engaged in some programs if guidance is not provided or is not provided in a very good way. But now we have your presentation, so I anticipated the questions, so you have the time also to think about it. And after the presentation from our colleague from Baldoyle, we can also have your answers and your visions on guidance. Thank you so much. So Sharon and Hayden, you can present. You have the microphone muted, as I can see. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We're okay there now. Okay. Look, again, thanks very much, Mariana, for your introduction, and it's great to have the opportunity to deliver this, and we welcome our partnership with this. So just briefly, myself and Sharon work in Baldoyle Training Centre, and that's based in the Fingal region. And the Fingal, we're working in partnership with the Fingal County Council as part of this SKYLA project. I suppose the aim here today is just to give you an overview of the proposal for best practice that we put forward for upskilling craftspeople in the area of maintenance of electric vehicles, and just the quick steps that we took. So we're going to share the presentation between myself and Sharon. I know we're a bit behind time, so I won't delay. Where do we go? How do you move the vote? Okay, thanks. So just briefly speaking, so that's just a quick map of the area. All the colour bit there, that's the Fingal region, Dublin Airport, and the Baldoyle Training Centre is in there. So it's quite a broad area that Fingal encompasses. So the population is about 350,000. It's the fastest growing area in Ireland with a very young population. And the training centre works closely with the Fingal Skills Strategy and SOLAS, who are our funders. Okay, so there are a broad range of industries out in the Fingal area. So there's different regions there we've outlined: agriculture, forestry and fishing in one, transport, communications, commerce and trade, manufacturing, professional services, and some pharmaceutical as well. In the area in the Fingal area, there's about 8,300 companies in total. So this was the proposal. So from our links with companies, employers outlined that there was a need for training for upskilling. They had a talent shortage in the area of maintenance of electric vehicles. And so they came to us with this proposal. And it's not the main dealers. They provide the training themselves. It's really the small dealers, the SMEs, the local garages, and some businesses, that transport companies, and that have purchased a lot of these type of vehicles. So the steps that we did, we reviewed national policy, reviewed funding policies. We identified the gap and the training solution to meet the gap. We developed a business case for funding and delivery of training through our ETB and SOLAS. We got qualification approval sought through the Institute of Motor Industry. We had a plan for the training of the trainers, and we purchased a plan to purchase equipment. So first of all, the policy. Under Irish government policy, there was a target set of 30% of all private car fleets had to be switched to electric by 2030. So therefore, we knew there was going to be a huge demand for this training. SOLAS is our funders, and we have we work we're part of an ETB, Dublin Dunleary Education and Training Board, ETB, and they have a strategic performance agreement with SOLAS. And 3 of the items we picked out of that was our upskilling of the workforce, training of apprentices, and the green economy. And we felt that they all linked in strongly with this particular proposal. And then the SOLAS strategy for transforming learning. Again, our funder strategy, they're talking about the equipment to make sure that relevant facilities and equipment is maintained, that it continues to meet the rapidly evolving needs of industry. This requires ongoing investment in modern care facilities and modern settings to ensure strong provision, relevance to provision. I'm going to pass you on to colleague Sharon there.
Thank you. One of this slide just outlines, I suppose, the process that we went through, that we basically looked at what type of training we wanted. One of the key things for us was that the training needed to be certified and it needed to be recognised. So we did there was an element of research that was done by our instructors here, and they selected the UK's Institute of Motor Industry. But another part, and we went through a process to get accredited through them. One of the other things that we had to look at was what type of funding best suited this upskilling. And we do have a programme called Skills to Advance, which we had available. It's a government funding model, and we felt that best suited the needs of the industry. Okay, so just to talk about the training of the trainers, and I know it came up as one of the items that was highlighted earlier on. If you're going to deliver, I suppose, best quality training, you need to ensure that your staff and your instructors are trained to the highest standard. So each year in here in Baldoyle, we would meet with our staff and we would develop a programme for the year for upskilling and CPD to make sure that their qualifications and their knowledge meets the industry standards. So all staff within the motor section looked at the level 2, level 3 and level 4 in the Institute, the Institute of Motor, and other staff then went on and did a BSc in electric vehicle technology. They also then went on to university to do an advanced degree and a master course, which are all recognised in the industry, which was very important for us to make sure that our staff were trained to the highest standards. I'm not really going to go into too much detail on what's delivered in the course. You can see there on the slides, and we will circulate those. But the key there is to make sure that staff in the industry are working safely on the vehicles, because if you think about it, up to a number of years ago, they were used to just dealing with the car that came in and they could take it apart and strip it out. Now there's an awful lot of other areas that they need to think about. Is it safe? Is it isolated? So that's all taught on the course. So we have a couple of quotes that I won't go into, but just to say, it suffices to say that the course we have, and this is part of our workshop in the picture, is very practical and hands-on, and so is the assessments delivered on the course. There's 2 practical assessments on the course that each person doing it have to take, and they also have to do a theory exam, and that's just for the level 2. On this slide, you can see the level 1, which is the starting. We started with level 2, which was with trained mechanics, and then we took it to the next level after that, which was level 3 for the staff in the workshops. But we're now going back to look at level 1, which is a whole awareness for people working within the sector, and that can be your receptionist, your valeter, but somebody that just needs to make sure that they can work safely on the vehicles. And we are also looking at level 4. I have a short recording here that just shows you some of the equipment that we purchased. This is a classroom setup, but we also have equipment in the workshop, and we had to buy vehicles for that reflects the industry also. So I'll just play this very quickly because it gives you a flavour. Okay, I think that gives a good flavour. That just gives you a flavour of some of the equipment that we would have for learners coming in to use. Our next course that we're running is the Electric Vehicle 3, which is a higher level, and it just gives a more broader understanding for people coming in from the garages. And then our next steps from talking to garages, we're doing the level 1, and we'll be doing a level 4 course, which is planned for 2024. So we're just at the moment planning for the training and the purchase of equipment on that one as well. And just to show you some of the partners we've had in this, we've worked with Bus Air and Dublin Bus, which are our 2 big bus companies. The ESB are there also, and Windsor, which is now a dealership, also have come on board because they recognise the value of doing certified training for their staff. So thank you. That's the end of my show.
Thank you very much. Yeah. If there are any questions, we'll answer them now.
Thank you, Sharon and Aidan. We have a question, in fact, and we can also start with you. The one on guidance I mentioned before your presentation. How important is guidance within the policies that you provide for?
Sorry, is that question for ourselves?
Yes, you can start.
Yeah.
For guidance.
For guidance, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose we have advisors that go out into companies, and you know, they're on the ground out there, and they pick up sort of any sort of issues that are going on, and we you know, they give guidance to the companies, and then so from that point of view, we took that sort of feedback on board, and then try to sort of come up with a solution that suited the industry, that suited so that it could enable them to source suitable talent that would be able to work on these vehicles going forward. I hope that answers your question. Can you get rid of that one?
Okay, thank you. So your perspective on guidance maybe is something that our speakers, the speakers that we had in the panel could also reply on, considering also the fact that, for example, for talents, providing for policies for better guidance could be something strategic in order to retrain them and also to avoid the risk of brain drain. What do you think, Lucilla, about that?
Well, I think, of course, guidance has a great value because mostly in terms of good communication of the possibilities that the region has for the young graduates. But apart from guidance or communication, which I think it's something that it's done from the regional government and so on, I think that it's important to really set the basis for good quality jobs in our region. I mean, if we cannot ensure that, for instance, in the case of the Talent and Innovation program, we know that it's important to make a very conscious monitoring of the projects that the people are making in the companies, because sometimes companies use these grants to finance the employment of people, and sometimes, unfortunately, this is not strictly used to execute those R&D projects for which the grant was granted. So sorry for the redundancy. So not only guidance, but also good monitoring of the activities that are being financed by the regional government to ensure the proper utilization of the funds and to really help young people to have quality jobs, I think.
Thank you, Lucilla. I think that you mentioned also the communication activities, which I think is quite important to keep in mind. Sorry, but this is the postal service. And I think that we can also ask to Lorenzo if, in his perspective, considering also the ITS Foundation, guidance and communication could be something that could help in engaging people within those stable networks and in that pathways. Sometimes maybe we encounter some stereotypes in engaging vocational education and training activities. What do you think, Lorenzo?
Yes, absolutely. It's fundamental, particularly, as I said in my presentation before, it's fundamental the guidance, the orientation, the communication, the diffusion of the opportunities that since several years are arising in our country for the vocational and educational training, and that are misknown by several parts of the population. So guidance is fundamental as such for the young students, for the people to address them on the sector, on the direction on which they have talent to apply for, but also to offer a panorama to the people and to the parents, because we have not to forget the relevance of the parents in the orientation of the young students, particularly. So that to address them where they are more capable and happy to stay. So Absolutely, it's a field on which we have to invest also for the policy improvement, and it's the link with several other issues such the apprenticeship, such the educational enterprises, and so on. So relevant.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you. You provided us with a different perspective, and I ask to Arnaud his final considerations on this webinar, also considering the discussions that we had.
All right, thanks so much. Well, one let's say consideration will be looking at the S3 working groups in your different regions. And looking, of course, one of the issues with S3 is that it's often very inward looking. So, and it's also about the moment. So often case is that the working groups are looking at what are the needs right now, but it would be very important to look at what will be the need in the future. And that will also help like in this guidance, looking at future opportunities. So that would be one way, looking at the bottom-up way from the stakeholders in your S3 working groups. Another way, and is to link this bottom-up with the top-down initiatives from the European Commission, because they provide a lot of opportunities. And just to mention, there is this initiatives from DG Regio, which is harnessing talent platform. This is in the link in the chat. And basically would be at looking at linking those bottom-up considerations and future consideration of the needs that will be needed in the future regarding skills, and linking that with the right top-down initiatives coming at the European Commission level. So that would be my consideration like on this webinar, trying to find a way to link both.
Thank you. Thank you, Arnaud. I had my personal consideration, which is that something we have to, like we did today, to think outside of the box, let me say that, because the different experiences that we presented this morning were, they were all inspiring, and they will inspire us. So I agree with you. It's time to be connected and linked, and to know also more of the opportunities that the European Commission is providing us in terms also not only on financing opportunities, but also on those opportunities that could make us linked and to be connected. So thank you, Arnaud. Charlotte, I ask you to present us the last questions that we have on Mentimeter, just to get some information on how this webinar met, if it met the expectation of our participants. Thank you. Charlotte, we can't hear you. I don't know if you are talking.
Sorry. Put myself on mute after all these years. Indeed, I'm very happy to see that people's knowledge increased. Thank you for the engaged speakers and organizers, and indeed from us, thank you to the engaged speakers and our lovely moderator, Mariana, and for the two examples and the further good practices that were presented by Arnaud as well. That was, I think, very interesting for all of us. If you have any questions for the speakers, I invite you to either email to myself, who sent you the emails, write them in the chat, and we can always follow up after, as we are very conscious that we have run over the time quite significantly. We apologize for that, and thank you for sticking with us. So thank you
for your kind replies. We are quite happy to know about that. Thank you. So stay tuned, because I think that in the coming months, you'll be again engaged within the two projects that we mentioned. So we are quite happy of this webinar, and I think that this is all from us. Thank you for being with us. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.